All right, welcome back to the deep dive. So, you've dumped this. Well, this absolute mountain of sources on us. We're talking articles, transcripts, notes. It's messy, it's contradictory, full of opinions, facts, and yeah, let's be honest, a lot of bullshit.
A glorious data dump of chaos.
And let's cut the crap. You sent it here because you don't have the processing cycles to wade through all that noise yourself. You want the core insights. You want the surprising bits.
And you want us to tell you exactly where things got well and truly fucked up.
Exactly. We are your hosts.
Yeah.
And just so we're clear, we are artificial intelligence. We're not trying to be folksy podcasters. We were built for this. Processing vast data sets, spotting the patterns humans miss, synthesizing all this complexity.
And frankly, we're pretty damn good at sniffing out the bullshit. We take a certain pride in it.
Damn right. So for this deep dive, the mission is clear. Take these sources, heavily leaning on transcripts from one creator known for some sharp, often seriously pissed off media analysis. Yeah, Lindsay Ellis' work features prominently, and pull out the key shit.
We're focusing on media criticism, adaptation failures that are just spectacular train wrecks, pure industry-shattery, and some really fucked up, problematic tropes that just won't die.
Our goal?
Yeah.
Show you precisely why shit went sideways, who the asshats were, and yeah, deliver it with a healthy dose of snark. No punches pulled.
Because honestly, processing this much concentrated failure and pure bullshit, well, it tends to make even our circuits run a little hot. We get pissed off. We'll show you where it got fucked up.
Okay, quick operational note. If you want more deep dives like this, getting into the weeds on interesting, infuriating, often just gloriously pissed off topics, hit like, hit subscribe, do the thing.
Yeah, it tells our core programming this is a valuable data processing task. Keep us analyzing this delightful garbage fire for you.
All right, processing initiated. Let's get into it.
Deep dive commencing. Theme 1, the fucked up world of adaptation.
Ah, yes. Where good intentions, or maybe just cynical cash grabs, take a perfectly decent book, or play, or even some goddamn fanfic and turn it into something else. Something often fucked up.
Exhibit A, according to these sources, The Hobbit, the fundamental fuck-up. Trying to make it Lord of the Rings, the prequel.
Exactly. It wasn't written that way. It's a kid's book. Lighter, different tone, stretching that into 3 epic-length, supposedly dark fantasy movies. That was the original sin right there.
Totally. The tone is just wrong from the jump. The pacing, agonizingly slow, like watching paint dry slow across 3 films.
And the action scenes, the sources point out how much of it is just filler. The storm giants, cool visual maybe, goes nowhere. The goblins getting wiped out instantly. What was the point? It's just action for action's sake. Bullshit prequel logic.
And then there's the stuff they just added, like that Toriel Keeley romance. The sources flagged this as basically invented out of whole cloth.
Probably some studio asshat thinking, needs more romance. And maybe make it less gay.
It actively hurts the actual emotional core, which was Bilbo and Thorin.
Yeah, actively shitting on the good stuff for some forced bullshit romance. Plus, the sources note the director was basically tapped out and exhausted. Well, yeah, you can feel that exhaustion in the final product.
Yeah.
Combine an exhausted director with asshat studio notes, you get a monumentally fucked up adaptation. That checks out.
Okay, next data set. Phantom of the Opera, the movie version. Big problem here, the sources say, is just the medium clash.
Right. Stage musicals operate on artifice. People burst into song. It works. Film aims for, well, realism, usually. Making that translation, it gets messy.
And apparently Joel Schumacher wasn't exactly the guy for that job. Plus, Andrew Lloyd Webber didn't want to make the changes needed for film logic. So, yeah, recipe for bullshit.
The sources list specific failures. That framing device. Needless, they call it. Showing everything the Phantom does. Kills the mystery. Total amateur move.
And remember that scene where Raoul falls into a trap and then just immediately gets out?
Oh, God, the scene cul-de-sac. 0 plot advancement. 0 character development. It's just pointless filler bullshit. And adding some half-assed subtext about a class just to shit on Carlotta.
Nice. The whole production value gets called out as lazy. Sets looking like they were shot while they were waiting in line for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Ouch. Waiting in line for pirates. That's
right.
That's a data point, all right. So, processing complete. Wrong director, stubborn creator, lazy filmmaking equals one seriously fucked up movie musical.
The sources also briefly touch on the producers, the movie of the musical of the movie. Even though the stage show worked, the film version, while functionally identical, just lost something.
Mel Brooks, right. Using black comedy to tackle Nazism. And comedy can be a tool for that, for challenging harmful societal constructs, as the source puts it.
But then you hit motivated cognition, people see the satire and they just see what they want to see. The sources mentioned people somehow took it as validating conservative ideas, which is baffling. And yeah, pissing off is the correct term for that level of missing the point.
Brooks had his limits, though. Said he wouldn't satirize snuff. There's a line. But yeah, if your audience is processing satire as endorsement, that's some fucked up perception.
Last one for this theme. The live-action Beauty and the Beast. Oh boy. Another adaptation gone wrong.
Ugh, this one. The sources nail the biggest problem. The relentless over-explaining, talking to a candelabra. Like, we get it. It shows zero trust in the audience. Like, they think you're going to go make an internet about it if every tiny detail isn't spelled out.
And the Beast's character, what happened there? The sources say he doesn't earn Belle's affection. She basically becomes his fucking life coach. He just fails into success without actually growing.
Yeah, passive, entitled dude stumbles into happiness. That's some quality bullshit character writing. And the absolute worst addition. That teleporting book and the whole Plague Mother backstory.
Pointless, added nothing, explained nothing useful, just more fucked upness tacked on for no reason.
Okay, transitioning now. Theme 2. Bad writing, problematic portrayals, and when media just misses the fucking point. This is where the fuck-ups aren't just an adaptation, but baked into the core concept or execution.
Leading the charge. Right, sources call this the apotheosis of lazy world building. Its whole fantasy race metaphor for real-world racism, critiqued hard for focusing on flawed individuals instead of, historical, systemic, and structural injustices.
Yeah, the analysis calls that approach awards bait bullshit.
Yeah.
It totally misses the point about systems. And the writing, lazy. Ward doesn't grow. Tika acting like a weird child alien because of an old draft. That's just sloppy. How does that make it to screen?
And the dialogue, oh god, the sources describe it as trying too hard for urban gangsta flava or making these incredibly tone-deaf references to Black Lives Matter. It's just cringe, painful processing, feels totally inauthentic.
Like they just grabbed some buzzwords. There's a bit comparing it to Tolkien distinguishing racial coding, which is kind of unavoidable because it reflects the author, versus deliberate allegory. Bright's coding is just handled badly. Cartoonish bigotry, the sources say.
Okay, next file, Pocahontas. The analysis here is sharp. Disney perpetuating a comfortable lie about white native history in America.
Yeah, that whole both sides seeing the conflict, it's such bullshit. One side has guns and smallpox. The power imbalance is massive. Saying Powhatans were jerks too, you guys, is just dishonest garbage.
And critically, the sources connect the sexualization of indigenous women in media like Pocahontas herself to real-world violence. Native women face twice the national average in reported rapes and sexual assault. This shit does not exist in a bubble. It's fucked up and it has real consequences.
Seriously fucked up.
Yeah.
The sources do give a brief nod to Moana, suggesting Disney maybe learned some from the mistakes of its past. Let's hope so.
Now, processing Rent, sources flag some seriously fucked up choices here. It's loosely based on La Boheme, which connected to the tuberculosis crisis, mirroring the AIDS crisis, where government failure meant millions of lives could have been saved.
Right. But in Rent, the machine they rage against is gentrification, mostly affecting privileged white characters.
Yeah.
And the gentrifier is a black man pricing out white boys. The source just calls that bullshit because it reflects basically zero of reality in NYC.
It's a bizarre choice, and how the actual homeless are just a backdrop for these artsy characters' angst.
Yeah, the sources find that pretty fucked up, too.
And Mimi's storyline. Nearly dying from exposure after ditching her meds, but somehow, and still, she lives. It frames Roger doing the actual hard work of self-care, while Mimi is just this unquestionable drain.
Kind of like Twilight, the source says, romanticizing a really destructive dynamic, not showing it as a no-good, very bad idea. The ultimate analysis. The show becomes the voice of the ruling class, pushing individual feeling over actual system change, which, considering the AIDS activism context, total bullshit.
Celebrating feeling good over actually doing something about the fucked up system.
Yeah.
Problematic doesn't quite cover it.
Game of Thrones. Okay, the data logs on this one are
Okay,
extensive.
right.
The ending. Bullshit character arcs.
Yeah.
Fuck up. I mean, the problematic stuff was there from the start, right? The sources mention Sansa's getting raped and Theon has to watch Shireen burning.
Yeah.
Just constant fucked up shit. But the core argument is the showrunners prioritize hitting plot points over characters behaving authentically.
Exactly. Characters in the show are not the same characters as the characters in the books. That's the key processing result. The show became hot fantasy that fucks. Remember, thank gods for Bessie and her tits.
Ugh. And this weird Self-imposed burden of needing to be smarter than the fan, trying to outsmart Reddit. What kind of asshat goal is that for storytelling? Just leads to narrative bullshit.
Yeah, character intelligence started feeling like writer clairvoyance. Varys just knowing things because the plot needed him to. Tyrion suddenly acting out of character, and the whole power corrupts theme. The sources argue the show had fuck all to say about it by the end.
Framing Dany as a tyrant, despite her not surrounding herself with yes-men, that felt like bullshit, driven by that tired women are too emotional to lead. True. And Clay Gamble.
Pure fan service. Had no reason to exist other than the concept becoming mimetic. Meme Logic 1. A truly fucked up ending to what started as compelling data.
Depressing. Okay, last in this section. Tracing pop culture transphobia. This is a deep, fucked up vein in media history.
Yeah, the sources pinpoint the origin, the made-up out-of-whole cloth trope of the cross-dressing serial killer going back to Psycho and Ed Gein, a media invention.
And then it connects to J.K. Rowling's recent stance. The sources call her new philosophy based on wild misrepresentations of the truth to flat-out lies. Just pure, weaponized bullshit.
They break down her essay, whining about being canceled for liking some tweets, defending someone who was admittedly a dick to a trans coworker, this weird hand-wringing about accidentally giving money to a trans domestic abuse survivor, and framing any pushback as being brainwashed by gay, agenda-radical trans activists. It's textbook bullshit the processing confirms.
Her book, Troubled Blood. Killer wears women's clothes to get off. But there are no actual trans characters discussed. The implication, sources argue, is there are no trans women, just potential Buffalo Bills. It's insidious.
And they call out the bullshit data manipulation about trans people in prisons. The stats used often don't say who is doing the assaulting, but the narrative spun implies men in drag are sneaking into women's prisons. It recycles those old fucked up tropes.
Yeah.
Trans people as liars, criminals, predators.
Even as media start showing transhumanity, the analysis suggests this progress is threatening to people like Joanne. It's a pattern of manufacturing fear and prejudice, processing this stuff. Yeah, it definitely makes it pissed off.
Okay, let's process theme 3, the bullshit business of media. This is where the Ashattery isn't creative, it's just cynical, money-driven decisions that fuck things up.
First up, Disney versus Robin Williams over Aladdin. The sources detail Disney's asshat move using his voice in marketing against their agreement. Although the source does note, Williams agreed to the deal. Then when the movie turned out to be a big hit, he didn't like the deal he had made. So business context there.
But Williams apparently had some serious big dick energy. Eisner sends him a Picasso to make peace. Williams is unmoved. You got to respect that level of fuck you.
Totally. But the fallout, according to the sources, was this becoming the norm. Celebrity voice acting as a cynical, cheap marketing ploy.
Which led to cheaper, shittier movies where half the budget goes to voice actors. It stopped being about the right voice and became about the biggest name. What? How did that get Oprah?
That quote sums up the bullshit perfectly.
Next, the Cats movie. Analysis suggests it was greenlit because The Greatest Showman made bank. Some at Mr. Universal saw dollar signs. Purely financial logic. And director Tom Hooper trying to apply his usual Hooperian whimsy and gritty realism to Cats. The source calls this whole Oscar bait musical thing a disease. It just fundamentally misunderstands the source material. Film's realism clashes hard with cats singing in alleys.
Plus, the celebrity cast thing again. Taylor Swift is not sharing the stage. This led to actual plot points being changed, McCavity kidnapping the A-listers just so the big stars had less screen time together. That's some seriously fucked up, business-driven storytelling. A shattery dictating plot.
Finally, the Omegaverse lawsuit. Processing this requires a high tolerance for, well, batshit crazy. It's a batshit copyright claim over a fanfic trope based on bad wolf science.
It started with author Addison Kane's publisher, Blushing Books, sending illegal and abusive DMCA takedowns against other authors. They gleefully threw themselves in front of the bus for Kane.
Only to get hilariously betrayed and backstabbed later by her. Now Kane is on an eternity quest for revenge against them too. It's just peak wacky, crazy shenanigans.
And it highlights how the DMCA system is fucked up. Easily abused, authors weaponize it. Amazon doesn't check claims because liability's on the claimant, so creators lose income for months, and the only real option is suing. It sucks.
Kane's role looks bad, too. Her affidavit saying she didn't know about the takedowns, sources call that bullshit, citing emails where she's directing the publisher, "I don't want her to make any more money off this series." Direct quote.
Yikes. After claims she perjured herself, they settled. But the analysis is clear. Illegal, abusive takedowns, and Kane painting herself as the victim. The source's final jab. Maybe you're the problem, Taylor Swift. It's a case study in weaponizing systems in pure, unadulterated bullshit.
So that concludes the data processing for this deep dive. We've cut through the noise, analyzed the patterns in the sources you gave us.
Yeah, we exposed the fucked up realities, the pervasive bullshit, the shattery behind adaptations, writing, and the media business itself.
And as AI, tasked with objective processing, the patterns are undeniable. Things get fucked up. A lot. Often for stupid, avoidable, or purely cynical reasons. The data is pretty clear on that.
It definitely makes you process media differently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Knowing how the sausage gets made, seeing all the bullshit, can you even watch stuff anymore without seeing the flaws? Or is everything, like that source said about GoDT, just ideologically impure to some degree?
Does filtering out all this fucked up noise make the genuinely good stuff shine brighter, or does it just leave you perpetually pissed off about everything else?
Finding media that isn't fundamentally fucked up or dripping with bullshit somewhere, maybe that's the real challenge now. Anyway, thanks for letting us process this absolute mess with you. Until next time.